Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm Dave Gazdowitz. I'm the at CCS in the Entertainment Arts Department. I'm an associate professor with Entertainment Arts. I've been with the college for about 15 years, actually. A good portion of that was as an adjunct instructor. And during that time, I worked in the film industry, doing all kinds of various production things, and I kind of moved from there into doing interactive design, which led me to go to grad school and kind of study that a little bit more intensively. That kind of led me to where I'm at today, where I kind of use a lot of different techniques and tools to build and design different types of media. And a big portion of that kind of revolves around the idea of interactivity, which kind of takes us into the world of game. I also have, if you see the slide that's open, David Bentley is one of our other full-time instructors here with Entertainment Arts in the game emphasis. He may or may not be with us today. He had an appointment he had to be at the moment, but he's going to try to make it here to introduce himself at some point. So welcome, everybody. I just wanted to start off by giving you a little background on myself, but let's dive into the emphasis, the game emphasis here at CCS. And if I can get to my next slide, here we go. So a little bit of an overview about the game emphasis here at CCS in Entertainment Arts. So game design prepares you to join the next generation of storytellers while using the hottest tools in the trade. Now, I know this kind of sounds a little buzzy, but it's really true. So you're going to learn how to conceptualize and build 2D and 3D CGI and put these skills into action as you produce immersive gameplay experiences across platforms, including mobile, augmented reality, virtual reality, as well as realistic environments and assets for film. So game design graduates work as character artists, environment and vehicle designers, technical and VFX artists, creative directors, and AR and VR developers. So that's a long way of saying that this career path is really open. This is a really wide open career path. A lot of times students will come into game and they'll think, I'm going to make games. That's what I want to do. At the end of their 4 years, they're saying, you know what, I really love modeling. I really love to model the assets. So I'm not necessarily going to be making games, but I love getting into 3D and making things, whatever that might be. So through that entire process, you kind of get a chance to dive into different areas and explore. So some of the things that you can be exposed to as you're kind of going through the game emphasis in the entertainment arts: 3D character modeling, 3D environment artistry, game development, as was mentioned, game art, digital sculpture, industry techniques and technologies that are used within not only game, but the automotive industry, advertising, any communication design that you'd be looking at. Again, 3D modeling techniques, the latest software packages, drawing and other traditional skills, really, really important. And then again, professional connections along the way. Some of the facilities that we have here at CCS are really pretty unique. So CCS and the Entertainment Arts Department work diligently to ensure that all of the facilities are consistently updated with the latest in hardware and software. So a recent computer lab upgrade provided a suite of industry quality computers specifically built to handle high-end 3D compositing and animation work. So CCS is committed to providing equipment that will not only be optimal for right now today, but also the future as well. So computer labs designed specifically for virtual reality use have been implemented across the college, and including a lab right within the Entertainment Arts Department, right where we're at. So we have access to a lab that's dedicated to VR. Some of the software that you might be looking at if you're interested in game design, the game emphasis overall. We have things like ZBrush, which is a 3D sculpting software. It allows you to kind of get in the 3D space and mold and sculpt just like you would with clay. Marvelous Designer, which is an amazing tool to help build and design clothing. So the actual folds and lay of clothing that might be draped over a human figure or any figure, Marvelous Designer allows you to kind of develop that. Game engines such as Unity and Unreal. So both of those game engines, which are two of the heavy hitters in the industry, are explored, and you have the option to kind of go in and look at those, and through some of our courses, you'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into the pipeline in both Unity and Unreal. We have the Oculus VR software. So we are also, for the hardware, we have the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vives as well. Marmoset Tool Bag allows you to do some amazing game quality renders, some amazing visual renders there. Adobe Creative Cloud, which is our suite of design tools, so Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects for time media, as well as Premiere Pro. Substance Designer and Substance Painter, both of those tools allow us to create amazing game-ready materials and textures that can really bring scenes and assets to life inside of the game engine. And then, of course, Maya, which is a industry standard 3D modeling program.
Hey, Dave.
Oh,
can I just mention something about that?
Absolutely. And everybody, this is Dave Bentley's here. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I just got back from the dentist, which is why I kind of jumped in a couple minutes late. There's a ton of software, and it looks terrifying. We try to break it down and make it fairly simple so you understand when and how to use things, so that it's not like this huge overwhelming list of software to learn French and Japanese and things. It's actually really amazing. Each of those tools are time savers and have been developed. They're just really incredible, and they're all like industry standard game.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Dave. And welcome. It's great to have you here.
Yeah.
Dave, can I interrupt for half a second?
Yeah.
Getting a little reverb from your mic. Could you move it down, maybe closer? I'm not sure what that might be caused by, but.
Sure, let me move that down. Let me double check one thing as well.
Is that better?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. There you go. All right. So the other thing that's really important within the game emphasis is looking at the core curriculum that we have developed. And one of the interesting things is that a lot of our courses really kind of compound on each other. So we start off with classes that, again, as Dave Bentley was mentioning, we start off with the introduction to a lot of the software. So we're going to be looking at Intro to 3D Computer Graphics, which gives us our basic 3D modeling and texturing. That moves us into environments and characters, where there's more concept generation and drawing and storytelling that are involved. That takes us to modeling and texturing, which takes us deeper into some of our 3D modeling, and again, texturing within Maya and beyond. So we can kind of jump in a little bit of Substance Designer and Substance Painter there as well. We have game concept and technology, where we're going to start looking at the basics of game concepts. We're going to look at the game engines and different technologies like virtual reality that are available to use when designing applications or games. Game Art 1, which takes into the account modeling assets for environments for specific game applications, lighting and rendering, advanced techniques within 3D modeling programs, computer-generated environments, which jumps in and again looks at game engines and beyond, and developing and rendering assets and environments for those. Game Projects 1 and 2, where we get into team-based projects, which allows students to actually go through the process and design and develop a working game that takes us through the process and pipeline, not only within the modeling programs, but also the game engines as well. Character sculpting, jump into ZBrush, allows the students to look at sculpting characters and looking at the process within the digital sculpting tools. Senior Studio and Professional Futures 1 and 2. It's really a self-driven course. It's directed by the faculty, where you're working on a thesis project. And then Professional Futures allows you to look at development of professional assets, professional portfolios, websites, resumes, cover letters, all of the things you would need to be successful as you leave a college environment. All right, so now let's look at some of the best part here, which is some of the student work that we have going on. There's a lot of different courses, again, at CCS, and some of the work here kind of jumps in through some of these. And as I'm going, Dave, if you want to jump in, as I know we kind of pulled some examples from your classes as well. So I just wanted to start off by kind of going through and showing the demo reel here, and I'm just going to make sure my sound is sharing. So this is our demo reel that kind of encompasses a lot of various work from different student level as well as different courses. Oops, let me get back there if I can. Here we go. All right. So again, a lot of the work you just saw in there goes through the gambit of the courses that we offer. So you're looking at classes that specifically focus on character design. You're looking at classes that jump into environmental design, as well as courses that allow you to jump into the game engines and actually make functional levels or playable games.
You're doing great, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. So this particular example, and I'll play this and we can kind of talk a little bit about it, but this is from your class, correct, Dave?
Yeah, this was one of the CG environments projects that we had. It was the sci-fi assignment. It kind of goes through like first an organic one and then a sci-fi one, and he kind of chose to make his sci-fi fairly organic, and it's really delightful. I love I just love the storytelling that we're trying to do here. That's one of the big things about all the assignments is we don't want you guys to just make a hallway that is sci-fi. We want you to like tell a bit of a story and get an idea of who might live here or what they might do, the conditions they live in. And I think this is a great example of that.
Excellent. Yeah, moving on. Here's another example. This is from I believe Game Art 1, actually. So this is an environment design that they go through, and they look at modularity and building out assets that can be reused within a game. So they, again, talk about storytelling here. So a big part of this is who lives in this environment, what's the mini story that's going on in this particular environment. Another example from one of our game art courses where a student was asked to create a modular environment. And one of the really interesting things you can kind of see if you look at some of the vehicles, they're the same vehicles, just repurposed. So they're going through that process of understanding how to create a base and then add on appendages or modular assets to create a unique and interesting design that can be repurposed over and over again. Another environment design here, a little alleyway, again, an interesting story happening here, kind of developing as we get a chance to see not only from a design aesthetic point of view, but some of the ideas of what's going on within the environment from the storytelling. Another environment design. And the concept and character design.
Yeah, this was in character sculpting and the sci-fi one of that one. She did great.
Another
And
character design.
Clearly, this assignment was interesting. I gave everybody kind of a villain or a hero, and hers had to do with energy. And she kind of took that and ran with it with these batteries. It's super funny. And just a lot of really neat little cues from batteries and from different voltage things. Kind of exciting. Yeah, continuing. A lot of Clint Eastwood in this.
Absolutely. A lot of your classes, Dave.
Yeah, these were all like focused on anatomy in this case, and Sam did a fantastic job making this gaunt, scary lady look real. Yeah, these are all just fun classes. This is like the first assignment we do in the sculpting class, where you take a creature, and in this case, it was blending two different creatures together and kind of a chimera, and you took a llama and a bunny, and did a fantastic job.
Cool. Are you guys also jumping into Substance Painter in this particular moment for the class?
Yeah, this is their foray into Painter too. You can see there was a couple problems trying to deal with like the left and right side of that one of those guys, the normals guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a great piece. That might be a shadow. Looking at that now.
Cool.
And this is that same student who did the bunny llama. Did a witch. And she's a desert witch, kind of a genie witch almost. And I love this. Her mace is actually a thistle. She's part like crow or vulture actually, and he wanted a number of different things to come out of it. So we did a lot of exploration. We started off with a lot of snakes and vultures and thistles and a bunch of different desert things, and ended up with some really, really neat design at the end of this.
Awesome. So this is, excuse me, this is actually from one of my classes. This is a game that was developed in game concept and technology. So one of the things that we look at is, again, implementation of the whole process. So early on in your sophomore year, you'd be jumping in and actually looking at game engines and how they work. This is a really pretty high level of scope that a student was able to accomplish within this particular project that really runs for about 6 weeks. They were able to complete a pretty much full functional game in the Unity game engine. That is actually really fun to play. So we worked out some of the issues through programming to correct the physics and the actual gravity so that the taxi would drive around the ball. But again, looking at the pipeline and the process for getting into the game engine is really important here. So this was a great example.
You know what's cool about this one is this particular student. He's super talented with sculpting and everything else. But he's gone on and made a number of working games and published his first game on Steam last semester. And he's doing just amazing things. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the really cool things too. It's early on that you kind of get an opportunity to jump into some of this stuff. So we're kind of giving you that experiential or kind of like exploratory process. Get in there, try it, see what happens, and then build on that. So by your senior year, you're really able to go into a lot of different directions and hopefully find something that's really exciting for you. And here's another example from that same class. Both of these students actually had the class together, and they made some really interesting games And I should mention at this moment in this particular class, I'm asking everybody to do 2D side scrollers in Unity. And these two students decided, you know what, I'm going to do 3D. And I applauded the effort. I was like, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's see what you can do. And again, with a little bit of help, they were able to kind of really jump off and do some great stuff. And now they're just, both of these students are really just soaring and doing amazing things. So beyond our courses, though, beyond the classroom, there's a lot of things that we do in the entertainment arts and the game emphasis, where we actually look at community involvement and engagement. And we do things like the Entertainment Arts Expo. We look at, we do a Dave and Dave lunchtime game time, which is this Dave and the other Dave. We actually get together during lunch and kind of have a really informal kind of session where we talk about games. We have people come in from industry and do presentations. In fact, we're doing one tomorrow where we're having a concept artist come in to talk to some of our game students. So we look at a lot of different things there. We do school-sponsored trips like GDC, which is the Game Designers Conference, when it's available. We also have sponsored projects that come through our department from time to time, where you'll actually have an opportunity to work with industry professionals and industry in general to produce projects and through that. And then again, departmental sponsored workshops. So here's an example of the EA Expo. So it takes on different forms depending on where we're at with certain issues that are happening. So for example, the next Expo is going to be a little bit more virtual, right? But when we can, the Expo will be a opportunity for students to present to industry professionals. So you'll have an opportunity to set up a booth. It's a juried process. You'll set up a booth with your best work. Industry professionals will come around and talk to individual students to provide feedback, as well as different just experiences depending on that particular student. Again, we have people coming in from industry, where we'll have guest speakers come in for the Dave and Dave lunchtime game time. We had, for example, an animator and illustrator come in and talk about the use of virtual reality in producing assets for an animated short film. So this particular illustrator used, I believe it was Medium, Oculus Medium.
It was Quixel, actually. No, it was
Quill. Was it Quill? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Quill. Yeah, you're right, Dave. So this artist used Quill to design all of the assets for in virtual reality. So she worked in VR for weeks and designed all these assets that were used in a short animated film. We've also had, again, a CEO from a local studio come in and talk to a group of students about augmented reality that is being designed and worked through at Kim Hankey's studio, Elm Park Lab. Again, school-sponsored workshops. We do things like hosting MoGraph Mondays. We look at coding workshops on occasion where we need to have, if we're going to put on a special workshop, we'll kind of look at the need of our student body and see what's available, and what we'll provide will usually align with what our students are looking for. We have Epic game presentations where we've had a few now actually, where Epic Games will come in and present not only to our students, but also our faculty to keep everybody informed of the latest technologies. And game art workshops, again, as needed basis, we sometimes will do interesting topical workshops directly for our students. And then some of the studios that some of our students go off and work at, we have a wide variety, but some very notable. Again, you'll notice that there's a mix. It's not just all game studios. We have Ford, GM, Nissan, Sony Pictures, Pixar, right? So it takes our students kind of go everywhere. It just depends on what that particular student is interested in, what they work through their entire 4 years and the end outcome of what they want to pursue as a career, they can kind of go off in different directions. It doesn't mean that you can't get into game, obviously, because we have some amazing examples here. High Res Studio, 343, Rockstar, for example. So there are absolutely students that will go off and work in the game industry and elsewhere as well.
I think the nice thing is what you learn in this department is a very versatile skill set. I think that's the important thing about that. So.
Absolutely. Great point, Dave. I think that's one of the most important things. We go through and do a pretty holistic kind of approach to a lot of things. So it's pretty diverse by the end of your 4 years. Looking at some of the alumni connections and successes, Rosie Cole is an amazing example. She's a modeling and set dressing technical director at Pixar Animation Studios. So she graduated through entertainment arts with an emphasis in game. Louisa, she's an environment artist at High Res Studios. And Molly, who is a concept artist, she's a freelance concept designer. She's worked at 343 Industries and Liquid Development. Again, just a couple examples of some of our students and some of the successes that they have. Again, depending on where their interest lies, their path can vary. But again, it is a wide open kind of world for them. And I don't know, Dave, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we move on to the slide?
No, it's just fun because it's also really nice to like pull from some of these students. Like Molly's going to be speaking to the students in another week, or another week and a half, I guess, and just talk about like her process for working at 343 on Halo projects and things. So that'll be fantastic.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, you guys. We're going to have time for a few questions from the students in just a moment here. So you guys will get another chance to share more information. But I always love hearing about alumni and what they're doing, because it's always, I mean, we have so many awesome stories. So it's really great to see ones I hadn't heard of before, actually. So that's super fun. Thank you. So for those of you who weren't here when I introduced myself, my name is Carla Gonzalez, and I work in the admissions office at CCS. So I wanted to just talk you through a little bit of information around how to apply. For those of you who are high school seniors or transfer students looking to begin the program this coming fall, it is time to apply. Just so you know, we have a free online application. It's a simple form. And we do take the application in pieces. So you don't have to have everything completely ready before you fill out the application form. So you can go to collegeforcreativestudies.edu, and there's an apply button upper right-hand corner that opens up that free form, and you can start there. And then we do need to see your high school or college transcripts, and you can send those to us by email or via Parchment or College Board. I'll show you a couple of links on our website in a moment. And then we do need to see work. So that's the part of our application that's a little bit different than others if you're comparing. So we do require 8 to 12 pieces. You can upload your work to SlideRoom, and you can go to ccs.slideroom.com. There is a $10 fee for that upload, but that's the only cost associated with our application. So the work we want to see in your portfolio, I can show you some examples, but just to be clear, is we do look for drawing in your portfolio. So that's drawing from observation or imagination. And so drawing, as you can maybe tell, but it's a real essential skill that we're looking to help you build, but that you need to have some basic skills with before coming to CCS. So that's what we're hoping to find in your portfolio. And then just to be clear, we don't require any standardized tests. So no ACT or SAT scores are required. But if you're an international student applying, if your first language is not English, we do need some tests like a TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo test score as proof of your English competency. So I'm gonna take over the screen share. But I need to do one thing real quick. So here we go. So this is the CCS website, and just wanting to show you a couple of things. So right here under admissions is where you can find information about how to apply. If you scroll down, you'll see our deadlines, which we have a December 1st and a February 1 deadline, but we still take applications on a rolling basis after February 1st. So if you are looking to enroll in the fall, I do encourage you to get that application completed. We do review all applications for scholarships. So you're going to want to get those applications in so we can give you an idea of whether or not we're offering you a scholarship, and that's based on your GPA and your portfolio. So there's an apply link here. This is information on how to get us your transcripts. Honestly, the fastest way to get us a transcript these days is to send us an electronic version. So whether that's by email or through parchment link here or the National Student Clearinghouse. Sorry, I said College Board before, that was my mistake. So through National Student Clearinghouse, you can request those and they get to us like within 24 hours if you do it electronically. If you're sending it in the mail, you're leaving that to chance. It's been taking more than a week for us to get mailed documents. So I just encourage you to go ahead and send it via email. And then showing your work, there's a link here for you to upload your portfolio to SlideRoom when you're ready to do that. Once you apply, you can check the status of your application and the documents that we've received in your student portal, and it checks off, what we've received. So when we get your transcript, you would know that we have it. Also under the admissions tab here is portfolio requirements with portfolio examples and some general information about what we're looking for. So if you go to this section here in the middle, it's examples of drawing from observation and imagination. And then this is just showing you the types of work that some students who've applied have submitted so that you can get a sense of, what we're looking for in terms of, subject matter really doesn't matter. It's up to you, whatever you can come up with or whatever's in front of you, right? Drawing from observation is simply drawing things that are in front of you, whether that's your hands or the room in front of you or a still life. It's really up to you to choose. But just to get a sense of the kinds of things we're looking for. Obviously, if you're working digitally, that's totally welcome as well. And there are just some examples here of other kinds of work that you can submit. So take a look there around the website and let us know if you have any questions. And I do hope that you would go ahead and apply. And if you need feedback on your work before you apply, your admissions counselor is absolutely happy to do that. And that's even open to students who might be, freshmen, sophomores, or juniors in high school, or transfer students who are looking to plan to transfer. Just reach out to us and we can talk you through that process. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm also going to stop the